I'm seeing this quite literally, actually. This man's lying down, resting. So I'm seeing physical tiredness. I think you were quite tired, and very tired, actually. And this is tiredness, I think, after having to process a lot of things, a lot of words. Because I'm looking at these swords on here, and swords represent words to me sometimes. So you had a lot of words in your head. People were saying a lot of things, and you kind of had to process that. You know, it was like the conversations were over, but you had to sort of unpack them all, if that makes sense. I don't think this is about, you know, friendship conversations and all of that. I think it might be work related, or it might be mixed, actually. But there was a lot of there's some kind of critique, I think, on your work. Maybe I'm seeing a lot of different opinions on your work, on other things as well, but I think a lot of it was on your work. There was some work-related thing around these conversations. And there might have been some mixed opinions on what you're doing, but I think it was mostly good. I think there were a lot of ideas that you had to take in as well. Yeah, I don't know whether this was some kind of work or study appraisal. It might have been that. But I think you might have been friends with the people who were giving you these appraisals, or you might be friends with whoever's your boss, or it might be, I don't know, just your peers or something. I am seeing more than one person giving you their opinion, so it might be quite a few people. And you can usually you're a little bit rebellious, actually, when it comes to opinions, especially when someone gives you an unwanted opinion. But I'm getting a totally different feeling around this. I think it feels friendly. I think you took it in that way. I think you took these opinions as being friendly. So, you know, I think you're coming out of all of this time where these opinions were around you. I think you were just processing all of these things, unpacking everything. But you were very, very, very tired. Very, very tired at this time. So the next card you have your past is the Two of Wands. Yeah, I'm seeing a crossroads here. That's what this card's about. Looking out onto your future and thinking, what am I going to do? I can go this way or that way. And I think this crossroads, it was all on your mind, what you were going to do next. And yeah, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing here. So I think a long time ago, maybe it was a long time ago, you might have had, you know, some kind of ambition or dream. And I think this was about not just doing something, it was about doing something, but it was also about being somewhere that was locked into doing something, if that makes sense. So it might be that you wanted to work or study, and you might have had to move or travel or something to work or study. It might have been that you were studying in another, far away from where you were, or you might have had to move for your work or something, or you wanted to do that. It was some opportunity or something, not really an opportunity, but an idea you had, a dream you had, and you wanted to do this, and it involved being in a different place. And I think at one time you had this thing right at your fingertips. And I think there was an opportunity involved in that as well. So you might have been about to go to wherever this place was, and someone might have said to you, you know, if you go here or if you do this, I've got this great thing for you. And so it felt like it was right at your fingertips, right there. All you needed to do was reach out and grab this. So you were so excited, scared as well at the time. But, you know, at this time, of course, it was all you thought of. You know, you lived, ate, slept, this thing. And then for some reason, I think you had to shelve this idea. I don't know why it was, but you had to put it aside. And I think it was quite painful for you when you had to do that. You sort of put it away in a little box in your mind, I think. And yeah, you sort of locked it away because you didn't want to think about this. It was like you're working toward not thinking about it, but it was always there. It was always in your mind. That little box was there. And I think maybe at this time, you might have been revisiting this idea, because I'm getting this feeling of sort of half pain and half determination, this crossroads. It was like, oh, this is going to hurt me to have to revisit this all again and open up all those feelings again. But I'm determined this time. I think I should do this. It's that kind of feeling I'm getting. So I think deep down you really still want to do this, but I think you also know it's going to be an even harder road to get there this time. Last time it seemed to be right at your fingertips. This time you're going to have to work a bit harder or do something a bit different to get there. So If this is all resonating with you, I just want you to know that you can definitely do this. You absolutely can. When you're determined to do something, I think your usual way is to just push on, plow through whatever this is until it's done. But I think at this time, I think you're going to have to be a lot more strategic. It's going to be very different this time. I think you're going to have to plan a lot more, and I think it might take longer for you as well. You're not going to have this thing right on your doorstep anymore. You're going to have to do more work and more planning to get there. It's definitely going to be a test of your patience, but definitely don't give up. At least try. Start writing notes, strategies, putting notes down on your phone, something. How am I going to do this strategically? How am I going to do this stage? How am I going to do the next stage? There are several stages in this, and then work towards each one. Because I know you want to do this. You know you want to do this. So don't deny yourself. Don't keep this locked away in this little box in your mind. Open up the box, take it out. It might hurt, but you know you want to do this. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the last card you have for your past is the Three of Wands. So yeah, you just had so much to think about at this time. This was a real crossroads. I think you had that thing and the Two of Wands you were thinking about, but I think you also had another decision that you had to make as well. So you had lots and lots and lots of things going around and around in your mind. You might still be like this. So I'm also getting this kind of feeling of you imagining that one of these decisions that you have to make might end something else that you're doing right now. And I think you're doing something at this time, or maybe even still now, and it felt good to you to do this, but you knew that it had to come to an end, and you knew that you had to make this decision, and you thought that this decision would make this thing come to an end. So you were hesitating for that reason. That's what I'm seeing was happening. And also, I think you might have thought, oh, if I do this thing, it's going to change me. I'm going to change. And I don't want to change. That's the thing I'm seeing around this as well. So you're hesitating, or you maybe you still are, because of that as well. Now, I just want to tell you, it won't change you. If you do this thing, it will not change you. You're still going to be you, and you can still do a lot of what you used to do. It is not going to change you. There's a lot of holding back, a lot of overthinking, a lot of hesitating, in this reading so far. So, if this resonates and you are still struggling with this decision, because I'm getting the feeling that you might still be, try not to think of this as temporary. Just say, okay, I'll make this decision, I'll do this. I don't have to do this forever. I might do this for a set time or a short time, and I might imagine that it's just for this amount of time. And then that will ease you into it. It won't feel as scary to you if that happens. So that might be an idea to try. I don't know if that'll work or not, but yeah, it might help. I hope it does if that resonates with you. So the first card you have for your present is the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so I'm seeing, this is interesting. I'm seeing a few different things in this card. I think you're going to have an honest conversation with someone. I think this is an overdue conversation. I think things were left up in the air with someone, and there were a lot of things that were left kind of unsaid between you. And I think whatever happened between you, I think it was cut off very quickly, and I think you cut it off, because I think there was a lot of hurt, anger, and all of that around that. So you cut them off. And I think why you cut them off was, I think that maybe you felt as if they were presenting themselves as being one way, but they're actually another way. I'm just seeing that because I'm looking at this jackal in this card. So he has a jackal's head, if you look at this, coming around under the wheel in the orange. So he has a jackal's head and a human body. I was going to say a man's body, but it's more like a human's body. So what was in their head and their mind, you saw as being a little bit sneaky, like a jackal, but they were presenting themselves as a human, as something different to what they're actually was in their head. And I think that's how you saw them at this time. Whether they're actually like that or not, I don't know, but I'm seeing that that's how you saw them. I actually think this person's going to approach you. And I think since you separated, this is interesting. This is the interesting thing I'm seeing. You've evolved since you've separated from this person. And what I mean by that is, you understand a lot more about forgiveness, forgiving others, and reconciling, and moving on in peace with someone, if that makes sense. I think there was someone else. I think this was a friend. I think you had a falling out with them, and I think you forgave them. And I think after you forgave them, it turned out really, really well for the two of you. And I think you're probably still really close now, this other friend. So with this person in the Wheel of Fortune, I think they have a better chance with you now. Don't be angry, they do. I think they have a better chance with you now because of what happened with this other friend. Because you forgave this other friend and it turned out really well. So I think that's how you've evolved with this wheel turning around. You've evolved, you've turned around. And I think that's going to work well for this person. And I think if you do agree to talk to this person, just go slowly, listen to your instincts. You can always change your mind later on, or at any time. If you're not happy with anyone, you can always change your mind. So yeah, again, I keep on seeing this evolution. You've evolved since you're with this person or around them, and they've evolved as well. So just know that you can change, they can change, and I think they have changed. I'm not telling you to forgive them or whatever, that's totally up to you. But I think you have learned a lot about forgiving people. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the next card you have your present is the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this person in the Wheel of Fortune, I think they used to know you really, really well. I think you actually used to be quite close, close for you anyway. You don't get all that close to many people, but you were close to them. And I think you have thought about this person as well. And I think it's going to take a lot emotionally for them to reach out to you. I think they are, but it's going to be hard for them to do that. I think they've already tried to do that a few times physically, but they haven't actually quite gotten there. They've tried, they might have picked up their phone and then put it down again, things like that. They've gone backwards and forwards so many times, and they've tried to let this go as well, but they can't let it go. They absolutely cannot. So they've been up and down with their feelings, trying to let it go, backwards and forwards, and they've just come to this realization that no, I'm always going to feel like this because there's this infinity symbol here, and so I just have to do something about it. I have to contact them. So yeah, they just can't let this go. They just can't. So of course, it's up to you to do whatever you want, but just know that you've been on their mind for a long, long time, and they've been backwards and forwards with this, worrying about what you'll say to them, if you're even going to say anything to them at all, if you even want to talk to them. So just know that they're not just contacting you out of nowhere. It's not like they just forgot about you and then one day said, oh, let's see how they are. No, it's not like that. There's a lot behind them, a lot of angst, a lot of worry behind this contact. So just know that. That's what I'm seeing there. So the last card you have your present is Judgment. So yeah, okay. You might actually come round to forgiving them. That's what I'm seeing. Now, it's not going to happen quickly. This is going to take a long, long time for this to all happen, if it does. But I'm seeing that you will eventually come round to this. So it's not going to take time for them. It's going to take time for you. I think they'd love forgiveness right now. They'd love everything to be back where it was without any work, and you just to come back and be their friend, or be their in love with them again. If this is a relationship, it might be a friend or an ex or something. It's either. There was some friendship and some relationship and some love. It's kind of a bit mixed, so I'm getting a bit of a mixed thing here. But yeah, they'd love things to be exactly as they were again. But for you, it's going to take you a lot of time. And I think they're prepared for that. They're prepared for this to grow slowly and organically. And I think really at this stage, they'll just be happy to have any kind of connection with you at all. I don't think they expect you to want to talk to them at all. So they'll be happy for anything. So yeah, take your time with this. Of course, be kind to them if you decide to talk to them, because there is a lot of angst behind them communicating with you. They've really thought about this. So that's what I'm seeing in that. So the first card you have for your future is the Knight of Wands. Yeah, I think it's coming up to the time, I think, where you are going to have to make this big decision that I was seeing in the Three of Wands. I think you've come close to making this decision a few times, but then you've gone back the other way again. So you come forward, okay, I'm ready. And then, no, I'm not, no, I'm not. And then you run away again. A bit like this knight, the horse is kind of jumping up and down, up and down, up and down. It's nearly there, and then it goes back down, and then it goes up, and then it goes down. And that's kind of how you've been feeling around this, backwards and forwards. I think you do know that you are going to have to do this. I think deep down you know that. Now, I think there are some people around you who'd be happy to support you in this, support you and help you. I'm seeing one specific person who definitely wants to help you. You're super independent. You don't like to ask people for help, but that's not how they see it. I mean, whoever this is, they're just happy to help you. So don't worry about, I think you might be worrying about, oh, if they help me, then I owe them. They don't think of things like that. They absolutely don't. They'd be absolutely happy to help you. So if you accept this help, I think this decision will be a lot easier for you, and the process will be as well, because I'm seeing a decision, and then after that there's a kind of a complicated process that happens after you've made the decision. So I think that might be putting you off as well. But yeah, accept this help. This person has a lot of experience in whatever this is, and they absolutely want to help you. I keep on seeing that. So please accept this help. So the next card you have for your future is the Seven of Cups. Yeah, again, look at the confusion in this card. Look at this confusion. Again, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with needing help, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. It's way better to accept help than to feel like the man on this card, totally lost, totally confused. And that's how you're feeling around this decision. You're lost, confused. You think, if I do that, then do I have to do that? Or if I do that, then what happens to me there? And if I do that, I have to do this complicated thing. And so I'm just going to ignore it and not do it. That's how you are, because you're so confused. You're like this man. It's like, what do I do? Look at all these cups in front of me. Look, I've got a castle. I've got a person. I've got a snake. Is it going to be good or bad? Which one do I choose? That's the kind of thing. So yes, ask for help, and this person is going to be able to clear it all up for you and help you. I'm seeing a couple of other things in this card as well. There's something you've been waiting for. There's something you've been worrying about. I think it's going to come to an end soon. There was a lot of confusion around this. I think it has been delayed. I think that's either going to clear up for you very soon, if it hasn't already. And there was some kind of person who was delaying this, and I think they were tempted by something. They had some addiction problem. There was something like that, and that was what was behind this delay. And I think they're going to be caught out or in trouble or something like that because of this delay. I think this was someone who you might have been involved with directly, maybe. Now you're not. I think now, after this fixes for you and changes the circumstances, you'll be right away from all this. You won't have to worry about any of this again. But I think you'll find out what this thing is. I think you'll have whatever this information is. I think this might have been your last reading. So you can choose to do something with this information. You can choose to drop the whole thing. It's totally up to you. But I think this is about someone who was very tempted. They got into some trouble, and that was being investigated. And I think that's what was going on. It's something to do with money. But you'll find this out soon if you haven't already. And also, if you haven't already, you're going to be able to move on from this whole situation now. So that's going to be a big relief to you, because I think you have, like this man with that as well, totally confused, lost, not knowing what to do. So that's either finished or it's going to finish for you soon.